It's 8 o'clock. Let's see. Oh, okay, finally went live. I have one quick announcement to make. On Thursday, we're supposed to have the last two groups go, and then I said I would talk about pricing since that's what we need to get through. My substitute for Thursday has had to, I will be gone tomorrow to the American Marketing Association's International Collegiate Conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. And so I was going to have a substitute come in and record these student presentations for you and talk about pricing after those student presentations. However, that individual has had an emergency come up. He's an administrator here at UCO, and so part of his job is dealing with student conduct committees and things like that. And so he can't make it on Thursday. I can't find somebody else who can work the equipment. So what I'm going to do for Thursday is I am going to send a link for you guys to watch the pricing video. And I'm going to figure out a way to have some bonus points if you actually figure out how you actually watch the video. So associated with that, so the next presentations, for those of you who have not done your presentations yet, there's two groups. Those will not be on Thursday. They will be on the following Tuesday. And we will not have class meet. Rather, we'll meet in cyberspace on the video. And I'll figure out some way to track whether or not you attended and give you some bonus points for that. I'm thinking the way I'm going to do it is by sending the video and then allowing you to post comments to that video on it. And that way I know that you actually did watch the video, post something substantive on the video in the comments section. And so that way I can then give you bonus points, and that'll be worth probably 5 bonus points, which I'm sure everybody would like or appreciate. So we have one group today that on Thursday we'll all meet in cyberspace. Since my substitute was not able to do that, I'll be at AMA, and we will then pick up with the presentations the following Tuesday, and then we'll go on after that beyond the next chapter. So, all right, you guys ready?
We're missing someone.
You're missing someone. You know where he is?
I did not. Oh, wait. He just texted. He's almost here.
He's almost here.
That's all he's texted. Almost.
Well, anybody know a funny story that can keep us entertained while we're waiting? One of the things, the conference that I'm going to, one of the things, while we're waiting for your partner to show up, your partner's trying to show up. Let me mute this for 1 second. I encourage you to get involved in campus activity. So we're going to AMA. It's paid for by UCO. We're taking 4 students. And let me... You make it? So let me see if I can play this. UCO pays for students to go to these kinds of competitions. It's one of the things that I use to encourage you to get involved. This is one of the videos we made from one of the previous years, so it's an incentive. What we pay for is we pay for airfare, hotel, and meals while you're on the trip if you compete. We're doing a sales competition, and this was the promotional video we made after one of the trips. So this is my shameless plug for UCO, joining UCO's ASA.
There's nothing beneath it. Forgive me for staring, forgive me for breathing. We might not know why, we might not know how, but baby tonight, we're beautiful now. We're beautiful now. We're beautiful now. We might not know why, we might not know how, but baby tonight, we're beautiful now. We'll light up the sky, we'll open the clouds, 'cause baby tonight, we're beautiful now. We're beautiful. We're beautiful. Baby, take control now. We can't even slow down. We don't have to go wild. Welcome to my house. Play that music too now. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go wild. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house. Morning comes and you know that you wanna stay. Close the blinds and pretend that the time has changed. Keep our clothes on the floor, open up champagne. Let's continue tonight, come on, celebrate. It's how we do, sometimes you gotta stay gay. And you know where I live. Let me know what we did. Sometimes you gotta
So, the theme that year, they have a different theme every year at AMA. The theme that year was Miniature Success, and they had a picture of George Washington on the dollar bill as their sort of emblem for that year. So they do a parade of chapters, and you're supposed to go out and find a costume that goes with the theme. So we actually went out, and Jonathan Carter, who was our president that year, we got him to dress as George Washington. We went to a costume house in New Orleans. New Orleans has got lots and lots and lots, because they do Mardi Gras and these big crew parades, and they've got all kinds of costume houses. So we found that George Washington, we by far had the best costume that year. And so they do this parade of chapters. That's one of the parts of the competition that we compete in. And of course, then we do the sales competition, the case competitions usually. It's an opportunity. We go in the day before the conference actually starts. So like on Wednesday, we leave tomorrow at 5:45 a.m., which is an ungodly hour. But we get into New Orleans by 8. That allows students to have time to walk around. The French Quarter is the most famous part of New Orleans, and we stay right downtown in the Sheraton on the French Quarter, which is like you can see the river from our hotel rooms. It includes a dinner cruise as part of that, a dinner cruise with entertainment on that. So it's a good opportunity for you to get involved. Again, one of the things that I tell students is that in terms of marketing and in getting a job, as you think about marketing yourself, differentiation is one of the most important words in marketing today. And going to these things, going to these competitions, participating in that kind of stuff is vitally important in differentiating yourself. It's also an opportunity. Not only do they have the competitions at these, but they have career fairs that have corporate sponsors that are there that are looking specifically for business and marketing students. And so those are great opportunities for you guys to get involved and to get some of the money that you paid in terms of student fees back. And we'll see how it funds those through student fees. All right, so our presentation, again, for those of you who came in late, on Thursday I've had a hiccup. My substitute has had a conflict that has come up that cannot be helped, so we will meet in cyberspace on Thursday. I will post a video for the pricing that we're supposed to do on Thursday. For those groups that are supposed to present on Thursday, it will be a week from today, since he was not able to get here, and I want every group to have their video put up on YouTube. So, that's another thing that you can show employers that you did, that you get this great presentation out there. So we've got one group today. Thursday, I'll post a video. There will be an opportunity for bonus points associated with watching that video on pricing. And then we'll meet again a week from today for the remaining group presentations. You guys ready?
Yes.
Your group members show up. Got everybody here, right?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
So. Okay, so we're the creative communicators. Today we're doing a presentation on big data. Now this is a term I'm sure most of you have heard at some point in your business school career so far. I looked up what exactly is big data according to Webster. It's accumulation of data that is too large and complex for processing by traditional database management tools. Today we're going to talk a bit about obviously big data, a little bit of a history, what companies use it for, how they benefit from it, some of the controversies surrounding it, and finally how they can use it in a more ethical and responsible way. So start us up.
So big data, as he just stated, started to grow slowly, but became that very complex technology and advanced, and it gave us abilities, to analyze data online. So, but today I'm about to talk about the history of big data. And before big data happened, people starting to grow a lot, especially in the US, the human population and the amount of information were so big that people are starting to see a problem when it comes to analyzing data. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the first American president to order a major data project in 1937 because of the Social Security Act. That's one of the important things that happened in the 90s, and this is when the problem started to occur. And then, as we talked already about the US population boom and the impact of Social Security number. So big data creation happened in 2005, actually, and it became the largest database in the world. In 2011, McKinsey stated big data as the next frontier for innovation, competition, and creativity.
Yeah, this is my part. So I'll say about like how the companies like use the big data to market the consumers. Like large corporations and many small businesses using the data to predict the moves of the consumers about buying the products. Like they are using the data to influence their behavior patterns in buying the products. And big data also used also enhance the security as well as we all know that NSA uses data to follow the terrorist plots. And now we are going to talk about the benefits of using big data. Like big data helps many small businesses to get into the market through the information about like how, when, and where to start the business, and like it increases the profits and reduces the overall production cost and like selling cost. Like according to the market research reports, businesses are read that using big data increase their 8% profits and reduce their 10% overall. So we can say that like they got like 18% profit by using the big data, and they are also they are able to make change within limited time with the help of using big data.
Well, and while big data can be a great help to companies and all types of these companies, we can collect the data. But one example is Facebook Corporation. The Facebook Corporation is a social media company that lets us create public profile for ourselves. Which I have one. They can friend other people and keep in touch with them in private messages. You remind people when the birthdays are coming out with people in the field. It's a huge website that with millions of users worldwide have been a great tool for people to get in touch with other friends and family has greatly been liked by the masses for a long time. In the past several years, however, the company has been at the center of several controversies. The biggest controversy being the Cambridge Analysis scandal. The Cambridge Analysis analytical firm is a political analysis firm that acquired the data of millions of Facebook users that was collected through an app on Facebook. The users did not know that their data was being harvested by this app. The information was then used by the Trump campaign in 2016 to help them build a profile of voters, which may have helped them win the election. It's on there. I also read that I believe it was the Russians that created many different profiles and used these apps to be able to determine and try to control for President Trump to be elected. Another big controversy from the large tech companies was when Marriott International announced that the data of approximately 500 million customers stolen in November 2018. The data breach has started as early as 2014, but the hackers were not discovered in the system until 2018. They were able to steal a combination of passport numbers, guest numbers, travel information, and other information. It was also believed that they got a hold of credit card data described in 4 words, volume, card information of many of these guests, but it also known that for certain they were able to decipher the information. Later on, when it was discovered in 2018, it was known that a Chinese organization or a company was the one that stole all these, and they claimed that they did not use any of the credit card information or anything like that. It was just to learn the ways of thinking of Americans.
Okay, so now that we've seen it's important for companies to gather this big data, use it, there are some problems with it. So going forward, companies need to know how to gather data in an ethical way and to protect that data from data breaches, as we just saw. So there's a survey done by the European Commission showed that 43% of those surveyed believe that companies were asking for too much information. So if your customers think you're gathering too much information, the problem with that can be obviously they will just go to a different company. So that can be a problem. So according to this man, Oliver Rudd from a CIO Digital magazine I saw, he states that gathering the correct amount of information is a bit of a balancing act. On one hand, you want to gather enough information that you can use to improve your advertising and make more money. But on the other hand, if customers feel like you are asking for too much, they will take the business elsewhere. So some ways to gather information more ethically, they found that just telling people when you gather the information, what kind of information you're getting from them, how you're using it, that kind of thing, increased their confidence by a fair bit. And possibly if you have, this isn't really done too much yet, but if you have that capability through a website, maybe instituting some kind of reward system, giving them something in return for the data you're collecting. So other than that, another big deal is protecting the data. We obviously just talked about data breaches. Another big one was Yahoo back in 2013. They were in the process of selling part of their business to Verizon for a large sum of money, but came out during this time that they had lost information on 1 billion of their users. Some combination of their names, date of birth, email addresses, passwords, things like that. This alone caused their sell price to drop by $350 million, pretty much instantly. So You should, so the companies need to know that protecting data is very important. They should adhere to all standards and maybe even go above and beyond, because it can have huge monetary losses for them. So now that we've seen how, data is important to businesses, the controversy surrounding it and how they can possibly use it better going forward, I hope that in the future, you will almost certainly deal with big data in one form or another as a business student. I hope you have a better understanding of it and you'll be able to use it responsibly. Thank you.
All right, do you guys have any questions? Of course not. Maybe I should have made that bonus points. If you ask questions of your colleagues, you get bonus points. Oh, there's one person.
Alright, so with the data breaches, is it just like hacking or is it like other ways like inside? So like, do the employees take information or is it like outsiders?
From where I read it, it was either other organizations trying to get, to get information, so which now, Facebook is trying to better their way to, prevent this. Which, on Messenger, they have, systems to scan pictures and stuff like that, to see there's no, stuff in there, illegal stuff. And then there's also they try to, protect people's information. Like right now, they disable a search where celebrities aren't good or anything like that. They were used to search information on their followers, and then there's people could search up addresses and stuff like that, which they have disabled that.
And then also, with the Chinese companies taking the credit card numbers, did you read anything else on that how they were trying to get to know America more? You're saying that they stole the data and then they said they weren't using it for themselves. How would they know America more by, did you read anything about that?
They didn't really go into too much detail. I know they say they aren't using it for nefarious purposes, but I don't think I would personally believe that.
Yeah, it was just their official statement.
Yes.
So when you talk about big data, is it just social media or is there a form of it that is just business based?
Social media data, that's just part of it. Data is just just as our original slide showed. It's just a large amount of data. This can be gathered from social media, but also people like Amazon gather, they see what you're buying.
Here's an example, 23andMe, when they get your information when you put to see what when you want to see your heritage and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They also partner with other labs to figure that out, which in turn, even though without you knowing or anything like that, they're actually looking into more into your DNA without you knowing. So at the end, they'll know more about you in a cellular level, like your genes and everything more than you. And there's a possibility that later on, they can even partner up with the government and they'll have your DNA.
Yeah, and it's very broad. One example that I have is that, for example, try to search something online and go on your Facebook. You will see an ad of that same thing.
It happens even more frequently than we think. So for example, if you are near a location because of geolocation, stuff will start popping up. If you have the Facebook app open, stuff will start popping up that's based on your area, and your likes in the past. So if, for example, you like Starbucks, may God have mercy on your soul, you do. But if you're near a Starbucks, you'll start showing Starbucks ads on Facebook if you have the app open.
It even happens whenever you talk about it too.
Mm-hmm.
On the phone,
Yeah. Well, even me and my friends were talking about something the other day, and then all of a sudden one of my friends got on Instagram and there was an ad on there about it, and he never searched anything about it.
So what is a nefarious, you said using it for nefarious purposes. How do you define a nefarious purpose?
Let's see, for nefarious purpose, I'd say it's basically, irresponsible use of your data, like the Cambridge Analytica scandal for one. That was data collected by an app on Facebook, I believe. They then sold that to the Trump campaign, which they built a psychological profile that helped them to, campaign. And they didn't tell anyone about that, and that upset a lot of people, as you might suspect. Also, they said they'd used it in the Brexit vote as well, which was also pretty unpopular. So these are, I think, some of the things that people would not want their data used for.
Okay, so with regard to one of the things that you're pointing out, the Brexit vote and things like that, traditional hacking involved what Mr. Horn suggested, which is actually breaking into a database, accessing a database, and then calling that information and using it for your own purposes, for whatever that is. When we talk about election hacking, a lot of that's not actually done by breaking into databases, although there was some attempt by the Russians to do that. There's no evidence that they were able to, for example, break into election boards databases and change votes, right? There's no evidence that they're able to do that. What are they doing? Well, they're using bots and trolls, right, to go out and retweet stuff. That's a bot that just does it automatically. And a troll is somebody who's a live person who actually watches and then attempts to join the conversation and influence, even though, and act like they are an American who's interested in gun control or whatever, and then try to influence other people through tweets and reposts. What about this for a nefarious purpose? There was an unsolved series of murders that had occurred, and they were kind of sure that based on the facts of these murders, that there was a serial killer on the loose. They had some DNA that had been taken from these crime scenes. They sent it in faking it to 23andMe and said, give us the list of people that we're related to, because they'll give you the people that you're. So they found the brothers and sisters of this serial killer. And they went to him and they said, well, we know you're not the killer because it's not an exact DNA match, but do you know any? Turns out they were related to a police officer. The serial killer in this case was a cop who had worked in various cities across the country and had been involved in these crimes. And they caught him using stuff he didn't even give up. I mean, he didn't consent. His brothers and sisters consented to their DNA being tested. And as a result, the police were able to find him. Is that a nefarious purpose? Is that?
Well, I remember that, and I think it was generally received as a nefarious purpose by most people. I think they're talking about introducing legislation to prevent that from happening again, if I'm remembering correctly. But that's one of those, I guess, gray areas, like people who.
Yeah, it was a good result, wasn't it? I mean, we caught a serial killer.
But it was a good result obtained in a bad way.
Right. Yeah. You do this. My brother, for example, has done 23andMe and he wants me to do it. And I just won't do it because let's suppose that there's another example. Well, we could take your genetic data that you give. One of the things that we're all interested in is this genetic testing to see if you're going to be predisposed to certain cancers or conditions or when you're going to give out, for example, what your life expectancy is. Well, insurance companies could, in theory, take that and decide that they don't want to insure entire groups of people. Well, that would lower some people's insurance rates, wouldn't it? It'd lower insurance rates for a lot of people. If we could screen out everybody who had some kind of cancer that's really, really difficult to treat, like pancreatic cancer, that's really difficult to treat and really costly, we just screen those people out. But that's a little creepy, isn't it? That's a little Orwellian. All right, any other questions? Okay, for those of you who came in late, because my substitute has fallen through for Thursday, I will send a video for you to watch on pricing for Thursday. There will be an opportunity for you to earn bonus points by doing something with that video. And we will have the final two presentations a week from today on Tuesday. All right? If you came in late, be sure and sign the roll. And if you talked, you two come see me for bonus points today.